The whole purpose of having an affiliate relationship with lenders is to give you more control over your own transactions. McGraw is a real estate company, and what you really do best is sell houses. So anything that they could do to make that better for you and help you sell more houses, they really, really wanted to do. The next speaker is the owner of McGraw's new affiliate mortgage company, AMC Mortgage. And I'm going to tell you a couple facts about this place. And in 1992, Jeff Allen opened the doors to AMC Mortgage. I was still in kindergarten. Since then, Jeff and his company, they've come to tremendous successes. They've got 9 offices across the state of Oklahoma. They've got over 30 loan officers, and it really says a lot about a company, especially a mortgage company in this day and age, when you've got an owner and a president who's so involved in day-to-day transactions, and even still to this very day, originates loans himself. He puts himself in the position of the loan officer, and it allows him to really, really get a view of what they're seeing on the front row instead of just, what's the thing I'm looking for? The puppeteer guy, Anyway, so he's here today as a resource to you and to tell you a little bit about what they do and who they are and the company as a whole. So to go back to our story, Jeff, in the short time he's been here, has already been able to solve some of those issues. And we had 2 testimonials, and as Jeff walks up, we're going to show you one of them, which is a true story from one of you that about a transaction that was going south, and Jeff was able to save it. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Allen.
A really terrific young family called me to list their home. They were past clients of mine, and I was delighted to get their call. I went to their home, and we did all of the usual things, staging and setup, and got it ready to list and put it on the market pretty darn quick. They were in a hurry to go because he was already at his job in Iowa, and she had 2 young children at home and was also working. We got a contract right away from another agent with another company, which we were thrilled about. The only problem was that it was a 3-week closing, and we were assured that the lender involved, who was a pretty good well-known lender, could do the job. We had a letter of pre-approval. We had every assurance from them that there would be no trouble. Guess what? The family moved to Iowa, put a contract on a home for sale contingent on the sale of this one, and about 3 days before closing, I got a phone call saying that that lender was not going to be able to do that loan. I asked all the usual questions. Why couldn't it be financed? What was the problem? And fortunately had a very cooperative relationship with the other broker. Unfortunately, the only answer we were getting from the other mortgage company was that it was an anomaly. Of course, I said, that's not a good answer, and no one had a better one. So having just been to the Lunch and Learn program that Jeff Allen and Larry Miller invited me to, I was remembering Jeff Allen with AMC Mortgage telling us about some things that he could do that other people weren't able to do, or maybe weren't willing to do. So I got the buyer and the buyer's agent to agree to send the file over to Jeff at AMC Mortgage. Jeff not only figured out what the problem was with the entry of the file, but was able to close it within a very short amount of time. In fact, he offered the buyer a bridge loan, which the buyer declined, and opted to wait the 7 days that RESPA requires to do the loan. Thanks to Jeff Allen, the family was reunited. The mom and the 2 boys had already gone to Iowa. She had already left her job there, and they were able to buy the new house in Iowa after this one closed. Another great success story, and I'm proud to say that Jeff Allen saved the day, and AMC Mortgage is now my new best friend.
Wow, thank you. I did not know that was coming, so I appreciate that. We've had a couple of opportunities in our first 3 or 4 months to step in and help deals. I know Ann had one. I know she's here somewhere. Had one with Ann that we were able to get closed in a hurry. A couple for Sherry Sanders actually in 1 week that we were able to do. So we appreciate the opportunity. We get a real rush out of doing things that other people are unable to do, and so we're excited about that, and I appreciate the testimonial. Thank you. Happy New Year. Over the last several months, we've had the opportunity to attend several of your meetings and functions, and one of the things that really resonates with me is your slogan, "We are McGraw." It is a testament of how proud you are of your name, and quite frankly, you are McGraw. You are founded by a legend. Your name, your brand, and your color are hallmarks in our community. My company, AMC, is currently in their 23rd year, and we are privileged to have the opportunity to work with each of you. As your partner, I want to make sure that we add value to our relationship by keeping you current with mortgage-related industry news. Since the financial crisis of a few years ago, it's been very difficult for me to get up and speak in front of crowds and not sound too negative on the industry news and how the lending has become increasingly restricted. Today, I'm excited to bring to you not only the significant changes that are headed our way in 2015, but right off the bat, I want to share some news right off the press. Got a call a couple of weeks ago. Been working with President Obama on trying to get some things situated to heat up the market, and I thought I had it worked out with him that he was going to wait on an announcement so that I could announce it to you guys first. But unfortunately, yesterday he jumped out and made the announcement on a couple of things that are changing. There we go. Yesterday, HUD announced that they are going to reduce the annual mortgage insurance premiums on FHA loans from 1.35% down to 0.85%. Fantastic news. A lot of other things that he talked about in pushing and making lending easier and more affordable for people to get into. The difference being on a $200,000 loan under the current 1.35% annual premium, the premium is $2,700 a year or $225 a month. Under the new plan, that annual premium is $1,700 or $141 a month, the savings of $83 per month for our borrowers going into those deals. So really, really positive news from Washington on the lending front. So I thought it would be a good idea today because over the last few years, we've seen a lot of business move out of the FHA arena and more into the conventional arena. We've got away from doing a lot of FHA loans because of the cost. Quite honestly, it was less expensive for people to get into a conventional loan with lower payments and lower mortgage insurance premiums and whatnot. So I thought it'd be a good idea today to talk about a couple of the benefits to refresh your memories of what FHA is about. Maximum loan amount is $271,050, which is about just under a $281,000 purchase price with the 3.5% down payment. FHA has better rates, anywhere from 1/4 to 0.5% better than what you're going to find on a conventional basis. So now not only have they lowered the annual premium that's going to help those borrowers, the interest rates are typically much better on the FHA loans. It allows for higher debt-to-income ratios. Conventional loans are now maxed at a 45% debt-to-income ratio. We're now still seeing on FHA loans that we're able to get debt-to-income ratios up into the mid-50s still. So great benefit there. Credit scores are starting to relax. This is one of the real good things that's going on right now, I think. For the longest time, we were stuck at a 640 minimum credit score. A few months ago, we found an investor that would allow us to get down as low as 560. Doesn't mean everybody with a 560 score is going to get approved, but it is at least opportunities for those borrowers that may have had some challenged credit in their past. It allows for lower down payments, which is a benefit, 3.5%. It allows for gift money, and the last thing that it will do is allow for down payment assistance through our REI and turnkey bond programs. A borrower can get in to a $280,000 house without putting a dime into it. So I think those are benefits that the FHA loan will bring to to our market. Also coming, I think the first thing in 2015, there's going to be a lot of changes coming, and one of the first things that's going to happen are appraisal changes. The Uniform Collateral Data Portal, UCDP, is something that as lenders we've been dealing with on conventional appraisals for the last 2 years. In 2013, Fannie and Freddie created this UCDP to collect data. So all of our appraisals have been going into this system, and they have been gathering information: square footage, room count, age of the home, the quality of the home, the amenities of the home. They've also been collecting sales price and value, what one particular appraiser may put on the value that has not been seen before in our appraisal. So that is information that they've been gathering. They've been gathering information on our neighborhoods, on our areas, and on our cities. And what they're going to do with that information, right now we've been getting warning signs in our automated findings saying that this value may be too high. Starting on January 26th, Fannie and Freddie will introduce a rating system. And with that rating system, 1 is a low-risk appraisal all the way up to 5, which will be a high-risk appraisal. They're also giving us 21 severity levels. And these severity levels will range from, why didn't you use these comps that we're finding in our database that were available to you? Why is the square footage difference? Why is the value changed dramatically over this period of time? And it's not going to kill a transaction, but it is going to make it is going to make the appraisers and lenders address those issues when they come up. Excuse me. So I really don't know that it's going to be positive for us. I'm a little nervous about it, to be honest with you, but I will also tell you, we're 1 year ago we introduced, or the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau introduced the quality mortgage rules of 2014. We were panicked, didn't know what that was going to be. We thought it was going to be restrictions on lending. To be real honest with you, a year later I look back, it hasn't been that bad. I got up in front of you at the GTAR last year and indicated, thank you so much, indicated that it was going to be potentially rough sledding. We haven't really noticed a big change. We're having to gather some more information, but it's really not that bad. So I don't want to necessarily look at this as being a real negative until we get into it and find out really what it's going to do. I mentioned the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. They have been established to help consumers in the financial industry as far as providing protection. They are involved in student loans, credit cards, auto loan payments, payday loans, mortgage business, the banking business. They're all up in our business. They're getting into the title business. They are monitoring what is happening from the consumer perspective, and they are totally funded by the fines that they assess. Totally funded by the fines. All right, some other things that are going to happen in 2015 a little later. Disclosure changes. CFPB made this statement: mortgages are complex transactions that may include risky features, so we've issued a rule that will simplify and improve the disclosure forms. CFPB has been concerned that these forms have overlapping information. They're difficult for our consumers to understand. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the good faith estimate, the truth in lending disclosure, and the HUD-1 settlement statement. Because of these forms being confusing to many people, Congress has directed the Bureau to create new disclosure forms. So in August, the good faith estimate is going away. The truth in lending disclosure is going away. And the HUD-1 settlement statement is going away. So I know you're wondering what happens now, right? The good faith and the truth in lending disclosure will be replaced by the loan estimate disclosure, the LED. Right? OMG. We're getting rid of the GFE and the TIL, and we're going to the LED. And I'll leave off the rest of what I was going to say earlier. But so we have these new forms, and really, to be honest with you, they are awesome. They are much better easier to read and easier to understand for our consumers. I think it's going to be well received in the market. I know it's shut off over here, and one of the things I'll mention real quick, we're going to send these forms to you in the next day or so. We're going to send these out. I thought about printing them out and handing them out today. I think it's best that you get it on your email, and that way you'll have them, so you can expect an email from us soon that will have all of these different disclosure forms in it so that you can look at them in advance. This first page is real easy to read. It's going to point out the loan amount, the interest rate, the term, the payment, the escrows, the closing cost, the down payment. All of that is going to be on the first page. The second page is going to detail the cost of that loan to the consumer, and the third page is going to have various disclosure information. So that is coming soon. The CFPB has moved the responsibility of preparing the settlement statement from the title companies to the lenders. Yeah, take that in. They will allow a mortgage company or a lender to contract with a title company to continue to prepare those documents. A couple of the largest lenders in the country, Bank of America and Wells Fargo, have already announced that they are going to start preparing their own HUD, or settlement statements. I won't say HUD, it's going to be hard to break that. They will start preparing those settlement statements beginning in August. We are going to continue to use the title companies, the good people at First Title, to prepare those settlement statements for us, and so that will be coming. The HUD will be replaced with the closing disclosure, or what's now going to be called the CD. And I really wish you could see this a little better. This first page is almost identical to the loan estimate disclosure. That first page has the borrower's loan amount, interest rate, payment, escrows, down payment, closing cost, all listed on that first page. The second page is the cost, the top part, the lending, the mortgage company fees, items that the borrower could shop for, on their own, and items that they were not allowed to shop for. And then down on the bottom, it's going to talk about their escrows and those kind of things. The third page is going to get into more into some of the closing cost calculations. In the bottom of it, the bottom of the third page over there is very similar to basically a summary of what the settlement statement looks like now, and just kind of in a summary page. The next two pages, and yes, the new closing disclosure is 5 pages, and it's only the buyer's side. The seller will have their own 2-page document that they're going to have on their own. I believe what's going to happen from very soon, you're going to have separate closings for your buyers in one room and your sellers in the other, so that the private information, the personal information of a borrower won't be out on the table for everybody to witness. These pages are good, still more disclosure information, and then I want to draw your attention over to the far right on the bottom of that 5th page. It's going to list that borrower will have in their records. It will list who the title company is. It'll list who the lender is. It'll list who the listing agent is, who the selling agent is. It'll have all of our license numbers. It'll have our email addresses, our phone numbers, all of that kind of information that will be part of their packet. So, this next piece is probably the part that is going to carry some of the biggest changes to it. The final closing disclosure must be delivered to the borrower a minimum of 3 business days prior to closing. Right? Roger's starting to have an adult hissy fit, I think. So that's really good news, right? I mean, how many of you have been to a closing recently in the last month, walked into a closing, got your settlement, got your HUD hours, minutes in advance, right? That's not going to happen any longer, folks. That is not going to be allowed under these new rules. So some of the pros: parties will have the opportunity to have the figures in advance, 3 business days in advance. Buyers will have time to get funds wired to the title company? How many of us have, in the last year, have had a transaction that was delayed because the buyer's funds weren't wired to the title company on time? That won't happen now. They're going to have this information days in advance. Questions can be answered prior to closing. If you'll remember back on the closing disclosure, I mentioned it shows what their interest rate is. It shows the loan amount. It shows their payment and their escrows and their closing costs. They're going to have that 3 days in advance. If there's a question or a problem, they're going to have an opportunity to address that in advance. So I'm real excited about those pros. I think that's going to be really good for the industry, but it is going to take some time to get used to. The 3-day waiting period cannot be waived, much like the 7-day disclosure period. It cannot be waived. The 3-day waiting period is if they acknowledge electronic delivery. If they don't acknowledge the 3-day delivery, it's a 6-day waiting period, and we have to send it in the mail, and we have to assume 3 business days for delivery through the U.S. mail, regardless of when they actually receive it. No changes can be made to the HUD once that HUD is prepared. And when I say changes, I'm not talking about a last-minute change to an inspection that came in late that's going to get added to the HUD. I'm talking about things that are going to actually affect the borrower's APR. Those things cannot change in advance. All of that sounds great, right? I'm going to caution you here. I think right now this last domino effect, you guys, more than anybody I know, are familiar with what the domino effect of a transaction not closing has on your business and our industry as a whole. I think it is now more important than ever that you guys align yourself with lenders and with title companies that you know can perform and be able to get settlement statement out 3 days in advance. If your seller's buyer, lender or title company for whatever reason can't perform and their settlement statement doesn't go out 3 days in advance, your closing is going to be delayed. And that's the domino effect that has me concerned about the new regulation and making sure that you align yourself with companies that are going to be able to do that. Get asked the question a lot about interest rates. Where are rates headed? What's going on in the market? And again, I think President Obama announced yesterday some awesome news for our industry and changing some of the FHA guidelines and really pushing forward some of the other initiatives to really kick housing and get it going. But we've had a great benefit of great rates for quite some time now. This is a 24-month graph, and up is good, lower rates, and down is at the higher rates. And at no time during the last 24 months have we been in a negative, in a really bad interest rate environment. But we were at our peak in April of 13, but you can see over to the far right, January of 15, we're not that far off from some record lows as far as interest rates are concerned. And I really don't see anything in our marketplace right now that's really going to start to push rates higher. I think Luke mentioned earlier, he's not an economist, and I'm certainly don't want to get in and predicting exactly what's going to happen, but the Mortgage Bankers Association believes that maybe by the third or fourth quarter of this year that we're going to start seeing rates trickle up a little bit. But I think the consensus is that conforming fixed rates are going to remain under 5% throughout 2015. A lot of that'll end up on, depend on what happens in our job markets, the stock market, and those kind of things that obviously dictate what is happening with interest rates. Change is good. I believe if you know how to lead, I think change is good. It's necessary, and I think it's coming. So we need to be prepared for it. A couple of the things that I want to let you know that what we are doing on our end. We are in the middle of a software conversion. It's been painful, but we are within a week or 10 days or so of going live with new software that's going to make sure that we have the most robust system out there. It's going to keep us compliant. It's going to keep us out in front, and I'm real excited about some of those things. I'm anxious to get into your offices and and during sales meetings, lunch and learns, and those kind of things, and kind of tell you about some of the things that we have coming up. I think that's going to be very good. The other thing that we're going to do as a group, first quarter starting here soon, is we're going to start putting our closing instructions out 5 days in advance. To try to get ahead of the August 1st changes, we're going to go ahead and be proactive to that, and we're going to start pushing our closing instructions out 5 days in advance to see how that goes, make sure we're ready for the changes. So those are some of the things that we're going to do. Francie in the testimonial mentioned the lunch and learns. I actually like to now call them lunch and earns. We want to bring those to your offices. We would love to invite you into our offices. We have a sign-up sheet. Would love it if you guys would stop by after the meetings today and sign up. Tell us what you want to learn. I love to bring in appraisers, underwriters in to sales meetings and whatnot, let you guys ask questions. Or if you want to come to our office, we're happy to provide lunch and do some of those things with you. With that, we want to earn your trust. We want to earn your business. We want to earn your friendship. We want to earn your respect. We want all of us to earn more dollars by providing a great service to your clients. And with that, I'll close. We are committed to your growth, and I appreciate the opportunity to get up and share with you today. Thank you for having us. Okay. I'm going to do the drawings. Okay, we've got, I think, 3 things that we're going to give away today. I need glasses so I can see. I'm getting old. All right.
Our first drawing is going to be for a $50 Quick Trip card.
$50 Quick Trip card.
Oh, that's not on, sorry.
Oh, yep. All right. There we go. Susan Gibson. Our next one is $100 to the Prime Steakhouse downtown. If you've not been down there, it is a phenomenal place. And Jeannie Truman. And our last one is $150 prepaid Visa. And Diana Patterson. Very good. Thank you, guys.
And those were donated by AMC as well. All those prizes.
You can't touch this. You can't touch this. You can't touch this. You can't touch this. My music hits me so hard, makes me say, oh my Lord, thank you for blessing me.
How many of you will believe I actually borrowed this from Larry Harrell? True story, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I didn't think about it until right before I was walking in, but, you know, rappers and realtors kind of have a lot in common. Yeah, I hear Becky Zarecki. She agrees with me. Get an amen. You know, rappers are always on the grind. And who grinds harder than real estate agents? I mean, they grind all the hair off of Scott Kaufman's head, for goodness sakes. That's a joke, Scott. You know I love you. Another thing is they're always looking for oh, there he is. They're always looking for exposure. Exposure, trying to get out there, trying to get your name out there, trying to get to that next level, trying to do more with less. And the next 2 guys that are going to come up here, our friend Clark Kent, a.k.a. Superman, and someone he's going to introduce, they're going to tell you a little bit about what they've done to get you more exposure and to help you do more with less. Ladies and gentlemen, again, Mr. Matt Johnson.
Okay, so we talked about the new back-end system earlier. That's the business manager. That's what Registics is replacing. So that's where, all the data is stored and all of the pictures are input and all that kind of thing. So now we're going to talk about the public website, which is a little bit more exciting. So we've redesigned that, and I think it looks really good here. If I can start the PowerPoint. We've done a lot of work designing the new site, and I think it looks really clean and still gives you all the options that we've had before with the searching options and all of those type of things that we'll see here. This is the landing page. This would be what you see when you hit McGrawRealtors.com. So if you were to scroll down a little bit here, we've got a section in the center for some links and different areas. Down towards the bottom here, we've got a live feed that will show you all the kinds of changes that are going on at McGraw with new listings, pictures being uploaded, that kind of thing. So this would be updated on the fly as things change. You can also scroll back through results and things like that. So it's kind of exciting to see those things pop up there, and I think there's a lot of people who would be interested in looking at that. And this is the bottom of the page with some more links and information about McGraw and things like that. So next we have the search results page. So if you were to search for houses in whatever price range, this is the results that would come up. And now we've got the property listing page. You can scroll through the images, contact the realtor, view some information. And there's also a Google map at the bottom, so you can see right where the property is, get directions, those kind of things. This is all also by default optimized for mobile devices. So there's no other site that you have to visit. It's all McGrawRealtors.com. You hit this with your phone, and it's formatted for your device. This would be the agent page. In the future, we'll have some things like, it would be adamstedley.mcgrawrealtors.com. You could go directly to this landing page where you would see your listings and some information about you and that type of thing. Again, these are all of the listings for that agent. And here's some screenshots of the mobile device interface. So this is what it would look like on your iPhone or iPad. And that's it. So next we've got Chris Zinn to come up and speak to you.
Thanks so much, Matt. I appreciate it. I don't know about you guys, but today, for me at least, is a reminder yet again of why I'm so glad to be a part of a company like McGraw. Seeing the things that McGraw continues to do every year to make our jobs better, to service our clients better, it's just a great reminder. So just awesome day so far. So thanks, everybody. All right, let me pull up my slideshow here. If I can, mouse here. Okay, it's not working. Melissa. I couldn't even get the mouse to show up. See, told you. So there was a rabbi, a priest, and no, we'll get there. The other left, or what? That time you wanted me to make up, Luke, we're just,
Yep, it's disappearing.
Okay, listen, while she does that, I'm gonna skip ahead and just kind of talk you guys and see what we can do to move this forward. But one of the things that McGraw wanted to do this year to help make our lives better and our clients' lives better is to answer the question that I think all of us have struggled with in our careers. You've been in real estate for any length of time at all, and the challenge is, how do I continue to meet all the demands that come at me every single day, right? So this is what we typically look like on any given day as a realtor. We feel this way. We've got paperwork, we've got phones ringing, we've got clients here, sellers over there, title companies, all these things coming at us. And how do we meet those demands effectively in such a way that we're able to have a life ourselves and also serve our clients well? Well, if this is like you, I know it's like me on any given day. How do you answer that question? And there is an answer. Okay, let's look at what a few solutions might be. First solution, I was looking for answers to things, and is it this? Now you laugh, but I guarantee if I ask people to raise their hand, about half of you have this in your house somewhere. So don't laugh too hard, right? Exactly. Is it GLH, good looking hair? My wife just bought this spray on hair application for me. Apparently I'm thinning on top, haven't used it yet. I'll let you know how it goes. Is it the Flowbee, the vacuum hair cutting precision system? Right, you've seen it on TV. This is what I understood Kurt Roberts used to use to cut his hair. So just a warning to anybody thinking about getting it out there. Or this, could this be the answer? The potty putter, the toilet time golf game. For those of you wondering, the secret to Luke's golf game, right here, in every bathroom of his house, he's got one of these. All right, no, as fun as these things are and as potentially helpful as they are, they're not the answer. The answer is actually something called a virtual showing service system, something like a centralized showing service, showing time, or others. There are others out there in the market. Well, gosh, Chris, what is a virtual showing service? Well, I'm so glad you asked. A virtual showing service is essentially a virtual assistant that you've hired to assist you as the realtor and your sellers in making sure that your showings are handled properly. It's one number, one call, multiple showings. More showings will result, more feedback will happen, and it'll be a much more efficient process than what has been the traditional model, right? So how this works is really simple. You have hired the showing service, whichever one it is. They've got a call center established. And when a realtor calls in to show one of your listings, there's someone manning that desk every day of the week, every week of the year. The only day someone isn't answering that phone would be on Thanksgiving or Christmas Day. So a realtor calls wanting to show one of your listings. The customer service representative coordinates that call, gets their information, finds out the house they want to show. They contact the seller. They confirm with all the parties involved, including you as the listing realtor, so you're aware of all this. And then they send out a confirmation email or text, as well as a phone call saying, hey, here's when the showing's going to happen. Here's doing the showing. Thanks so much. It's a beautiful, beautiful system, and it's available, again, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. So what that means for you is when you're out there on a listing appointment and you don't want to take a phone call because you're in front of that client and you want to take care of the needs of that client at that moment, you don't want to keep answering your phone because somebody's trying to show your listing. Well, guess what? You can turn your phone off because the virtual showing assistant is going to coordinate that phone call for you. And you're going to get a record of it as it's happening. It's a beautiful thing. And the great thing is, too, once that showing has occurred, then they're going to send a feedback request to the realtor who did the showing. So I know I've done it. We have this showing service. We've been using it, Carol and I, on our team. We've been using it about a year now. And I use it when I call and show any of our houses. I call Showing Time, our showing service that we've worked with, and they set everything up for me. Before I leave the house, practically, I'm getting a feedback request. They're going to send that to me 3 times until I respond back with some sort of an answer, answering the survey, whatever I want to do, right? And if they don't, then we can then follow up and try to get that feedback manually. But they do all that for you, which is terrific. Again, taking that burden off of you, allowing you to get better feedback more quickly to pass on to your sellers. Once that feedback is there, it can be made immediately available to your seller online. They'll get notification of it. They can see it if you want. If you don't want them to, you don't have to. But it's there. Then it establishes a record of every showing request, showing appointment, and feedback for your listings. So you've got this permanent digital record of everything there for you that you can pass on to your client. You can update periodically if you need to your clients, so they can see all the work that you're doing to make sure that their home is getting showed properly and feedback is being received. So I love that about it. And the great thing is, as realtors, most of us are control freaks, right? We want to make sure that things are being done the way that we want them done. The beauty of a showing service like this is you can do just that. How Carol and I choose to set up our showings in our service may be very different in how you want to set them up for you as an individual agent. And that's perfectly fine. Then within your own listing inventory, you may have some listings you want to set up a certain way, others yet another way, others yet a third way. You can do this any way you want, completely customizable per agent and per listing. So when you look at this, what it essentially does for you and for your clients is it allows you to be able to focus on your clients, and when you're not with clients, to actually maybe, guess what, turn that phone off and focus on your family. Have a life worth living, right? We don't do this just to make money. We do this to build a certain life, and this will allow you to do that. It's just one tool, one arrow in the quiver that we can use for that. The other thing it will do for you as a realtor is when you go on listing appointments, I can't tell you how often Carol and I have gone on these appointments, and we sat down with the seller and we talk about how showings happen and the difference between this approach and the traditional approach. The seller's eyes light up. They recognize what a terrific service this is, and they love it that we've invested in this service and that we can offer it to our clients. And we will win listings as a result of it. You will too. So that's another benefit for you. Then for the seller, it's all that we've talked about. It's making sure they're never going to miss a showing call ever again. They're going to get the feedback that they need to make decisions about their home quicker than they've ever been able to get that feedback before. And they're going to have a better listing experience with you as a realtor as a result of that. And then for the showing agent, it's going to make sure that everybody showing a listing of yours, of ours, right, is going to get a confirmation to make sure that people aren't showing up on Tuesday at 1 when they really called to confirm a showing for Wednesday at 3. But because they wrote it on a sticky note and that sticky note got left somewhere else, they got confused and wrote the wrong time down. Confirmations are sent out and everybody understands and they're all on the same page. So there's huge benefits to it. McGraw saw the need for something like this, and so they began in the fall looking at what can we do. Luke brought it up at a management meeting. I love the idea because Carol and I had already been doing it, and then throughout the course of the last year, there are other McGraw realtors who've jumped on this showing service bandwagon and are doing it themselves. A couple that I am aware of are the Grunwald team and Richard and Patty Taylor, all doing this showing service and loving it with great results. So McGraw's hearing all this and they're thinking we need to, again, as Francie Bomer says, a rising tide raises all boats. It's a great saying. It's a true statement. They said if we can offer this as a company, how much better will it be for us and all of our realtors? So McGraw is in the process now of beta testing different programs to make sure we're getting the very best showing service that we can get. We're still in that process now. We'll get through that here fairly shortly. And then by the end of the first quarter, McGraw's going to begin to roll this out office by office. There will be plenty of training available for everybody. But it's going to make it a great process for all of us as realtors out there. And the best part is this incredible service that McGraw is going to offer for everyone is going to be made available free of charge to you and your clients. So that is worth applauding. So finally, why a service like this? Because you deserve to be just this happy, right? Thanks.
Yeah, they were dancing and singing and moving to the grooving. And just when it
exciting. There's no doubt. Before I get started, I seriously and genuinely do. I think that Matt Johnson needs one more round of applause. Where's that guy at? He's worked so hard and spent so much time. I know his presentation, again, was really subdued and short, but he has spent so many hours building that thing from the ground up, and it really is a task that none of us could pull off, which is why we never see him. Thinking about why we never see him, I was thinking about who else I never see in the office, and Matt Johnson, the only person I see less than Matt Johnson is Glenn Taylor, and somehow the dude still sells $4 million a year. Oh, there he is. Hey, managed to show up today. Good job, Glenn. Okay, our next speaker, I brought my paper, so I do it right, but our next speaker may not need an introduction, but we're going to go ahead and give him one anyway. We're going to give you a few hints. So this guy, he keeps an iPhone in his glove box, and he calls it the car phone. He gives really the greatest speeches. He writes a note almost every single day of the week, but he can't send a text message. He's traveled the entire world and never taken a selfie. And most importantly, for years, he's been at the head of the largest independently owned real estate company in the state of Oklahoma, and still to this day doesn't have a computer in his office. Our next speaker is a man who's very near and dear to my heart, and he's very near and dear to many of yours as well. I'm very fortunate in my life that I get to spend so much time outside of the office with him, and pick up on a lot of his wisdom. More often than not, we sit around and we talk about work. And I don't know if any of you have those parents that just say the same story over and over. I do, but anyway. So, and in fact, I don't even need my notes. I mean, he said it so many times, and he might very well say it today, that what McGraw does best is sell houses. And without McGraw, without the agents, it really, really, really doesn't exist. And he's very fortunate in his life, in the position that he's in, that being the genuine guy that he is, he loves building others up. And he's in a spot that when he builds you up and you do better, it really makes him do better, and it makes everybody better. And I think that's a big reason why this company's where it is today and as large as it is today, and has the legacy that it has today. So let's just introduce him right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John WOOLMAN.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, I can promise you I've known Drew for about 5 or 6 years. He's worn his entire wardrobe today. When I saw the jacket, I knew he's done. So I don't know what else he'll come out in, but I think we've seen everything. You know, this truly is one of my favorite days of the year because it's a time we all get together, and most everybody that's associated with McGraw, not only our associates, but our affiliates and all the people, our staff and everybody are here. And we really do have a wonderful company. I feel so blessed to be a part of it in any way. And as all of you know, Joe and I have been friends for a long, long time, 40-some years. And I used to loan Joe money a long time ago. We've really had a long, long history. And he paid them back, you know. Didn't get either one of us fired. But anyway, it's really been a wonderful relationship that I've had with Joe and with this company. And so many times, when I visit with you, I tell you how much you mean to us. And I know you know that I'm sincere when I say that. And, you know, when I tell Drew things like that, I mean, you've all heard me talk about my mother. My mother always told me, John, you're who you hang around with. And it's so true in life. And that's the reason people want to be around McGraw and they want to be part of this company, is because we truly do have a group of people that are real genuine and really do care about each other. That was interesting when Gordon had all of you stand up that it helped, and literally everyone in the room could have and should have stood up because you've all helped someone at some point in time. One thing I also always say to you, and I mean it with all my heart, and I thought it was great when Don spoke this morning about his mother and how much Judy meant to him. And I tell you that all the time. The things that you do for your family are so important. Don't ever lose sight of the fact that when you get up and go to work and do what you do so well and bring money home for your family, you're going to give your children a chance to have a better life, your family a chance to have a better life. I wouldn't have had the life I had it not been for both my parents. And my father always gave Mom most of the credit. And honestly, I believe that to be true. It's just so important. So please, take a few moments once in a while, give yourself a little attaboy, pat yourself on the back. Humility is a virtue. I get it. But every once in a while, it's okay to not be humble for just a little bit and give yourself a pat on the back. I love every one of you. One of the things that I'm most proud about McGraw for is that we do such a good job of being a part of our community. And, I think you could walk in any church, any school, any group, any organization in the city of Tulsa, and you're going to find one of you guys in there doing the hard work. I happen to be on the discernment committee at First Presbyterian Church this year, and we were looking for some ways to do some ministry with our church. And one of the things that came up was a gentleman that I want to introduce today, and I'd like for you to listen to what he has to say, and then Joe and I are going to come up after that and finish up. But this gentleman runs an organization called Reading Partners of America, and Barry is here with me today, and hold on one second. Barry Maxwell, and he's here with me today, and Barry represents the organization here in Tulsa. It's a situation we all know in the school systems, a lot of the struggles that our children have and children in Tulsa have. And this reading partner things has really proven to be a dynamic way to help kids from the 3rd grade, 4th grade, even 2nd grade get going. And right now there's several schools in Tulsa that are participating. And Barry is someone that I just really was taken with, our whole committee was, and the church got involved with him. My wife Karen's here today, and Karen became a reading partner. And so I wanted Barry to come just for 5 minutes, tell you a little bit about reading partners, and then I would encourage any of you, if you're looking for something to do with your life, just to give something back, I don't know what you could do better than to help a young person to learn to read. And a lot of these kids really face struggles. You'll have a Hispanic child that is in school, and then he goes home at night and his parents speak Spanish. And yet we expect him to learn English at the same rate that our children do. It's just not fair. So Reading Partners is really a way to help some of these kids get past some of the struggles that they see. And I know that Karen and many like her could give testimony to what they've done. So Barry, would you mind coming up and tell us about Reading Partners? This is Barry Maxwell.
Good afternoon. Oh, come on, you can do better than that. Good afternoon. All right. John, thank you so much for that warm welcome and for inviting us to come and speak today. We really appreciate this opportunity to address McGraw and this great company. And Karen, his wife, is such a great advocate for our program and is one of our tutors. And she does an amazing job. And we were going to do a little bit longer presentation, but I know that we may be running behind, so we're going to keep our remarks a little bit shorter today. I didn't realize there was this many realtors at McGraw. This is pretty fabulous. And then also I didn't realize realtors like to have so much fun. I mean, this has been really interesting and to learn. And one of the things I learned is I have to get one of those potty putters. Thank you, Matt. I think that will greatly improve my golf game right there. So I did learn something today. They say you should start with a joke when you do a presentation. I'm not a very good joke guy. I never can remember them, all that. And so I looked one up on the internet to find a realtor joke. And so you guys have probably heard this one. I don't know. So we'll see. So humor me, laugh anyway, even if it's a fake laugh, just so, it doesn't hurt my feelings too bad. So a seller one day was talking to their agent, and she said, you did such a great job describing my house. I've decided to keep it. I don't know if you've ever actually heard that one, but I thought that was interesting. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about Reading Partners and what we're doing in the community, because I think it is so important. Reading Partners is a national nonprofit literacy organization, and we're dedicated to improving reading skills for students in Title I elementary schools. And Title I elementary schools are schools that have a very high percentage of poverty. There are 54 elementary schools in the Tulsa Public School District. How many of those do you think are Title I schools? Anyone? Just venture a guess. Anyone? Oh, you guys must did the research. It's 51 out of 54. You guys are realtors. Of course you did the research. But yes, 51 out of the 54 elementary schools in the Tulsa Public School System are considered Title I elementary schools. So as you know, the need is huge. Everybody has read about the state of education, and especially the reading scores at Tulsa Public Schools. And so you probably know that last year on the third grade reading test, the state third grade reading test, that only 47% of third graders in TPS were reading at a proficient level. That's less than half. And the reason that is important is that if you're not reading at grade level by the end of the third grade, you're 4 times more likely to drop out of school before getting your high school diploma. You're more likely to go to prison. You're more likely to live in poverty the rest of your life. As you all know, reading is a critical skill. It is the foundation for all other learning. You cannot learn in other subjects without being able to read. And so we were fortunate to have State Superintendent Joy Hoffmeister come out and actually visit one of the schools that we're serving, Eugene Field, this past Tuesday, and she loved the program, and we hope that she's going to be supportive of it. And she told me that she had met with a group of realtors earlier that day, and I thought, well, that's interesting that the state superintendent of schools is meeting with realtors. And, why would that be? Why would she be meeting with realtors? And she said, well, obviously, and it should have dawned on me, but, the state of the education system, I would think, as someone that is selling real estate, would be something you would be concerned about. I would think that people that are buying homes want to know that where they're going, that there's a good education system. And we all know that there are challenges within our community, and especially within the Tulsa Public Schools. And that's why Tulsa Public Schools reached out to bring in Reading Partners to help be part of this solution for the early literacy crisis that we have going on in this community. So I have a challenge for you today. At Reading Partners, we recruit community volunteers to come in and tutor students for 45 minutes twice a week, using an evidence-based curriculum that's been proven effective in helping kids close their achievement gap. We ask volunteers to donate just 1 hour. Just 1 hour a week can change the trajectory of a child's life. They're tutored twice a week, but not everybody can tutor twice a week. So working professionals like myself that are willing to commit to an hour, they can come in and work with a student and help them get back on grade level. And this is a great way for you to be part of the solution on our education crisis in this community, and to hopefully help your business as well as a result of that. And as John said, his wife Karen is already volunteering, and I learned at lunch today that there's another one of your agents, Spencer Livingston Gainey, who is also, where you at, Spencer? You out there? There he is. You guys can talk to Spencer. He can tell you just what a rewarding opportunity this is to be a volunteer, because it really is. I tutor myself out at Cooper Elementary, which is on the east side. I was there yesterday, and the little girl that I tutor is just so darling, and she loves to see me, and it makes my day every week when I go out there and I work with her, because she's so happy to see me and she's making so much progress. So I would just encourage you to look into being a volunteer and to help a child, because there's a great need. We're in 15 Tulsa Public Elementary Schools right now. We're serving 655 students, but we could more than double that. Anytime we get a volunteer, we can serve another student. So the need is huge, and we need help. So thank you, John. Thank you all so much for allowing us to come out and present today. We have a question? Oh, that's great. Great question. So Jessica Reisenhoover is our community engagement manager, and she and Cindy Hoffman are here today, and they have flyers. So the number that you can call to volunteer is 949-1979. And you also can go to our website, just readingpartners.org, and you can sign up through our website. So either way, and Jessica's here today to sign up, folks. So again, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you, Barry. Listen, guys, I know that so much of the stuff we do because we want to. It doesn't have anything to do with money. And so that's why I thought you'd like knowing about Barry and the things that he does. And we're so proud of him. Joe wanted to come up and say a few words about the company. So come on, Joe.
Thank you. We've come a long way, baby. I was thinking from our few sales associates in 1965 when I started the company at 721 South Main. I'm just sitting back here and hearing all these accolades, all these wonderful programs, all these great things that our company is doing, how we are the best best real estate company in the city, but the biggest in the state as far as an independent real estate company. I'm just, I can't say how much I appreciate all of you, and I just want to say thank you for being here today. Thank you for what you do to make us the #1 company. Thank you for helping each other. Thank you for your professionalism and the quality of life that you guys live with our company. And we're just delighted and happy and pleased that you're here. And we're just grateful and blessed to have all these wonderful things happen. Thank you.
Who can argue with that, right? Thank you, Joe. You know, we've talked a little bit about recruiting today, and I do have something that I want to talk to you about as far as an opportunity that's for all of you. But before we do that, I know a lot of you received an envelope. And why don't you open those envelopes right now and look at it, and then I'll explain to you what it is. When we go a little further, this will make sense as far as the recruiting, but for those of you that have your envelope in front of you, one of the things that Joe and I, is everybody got them? Okay, one of the things that we worry about, and we talk to you guys about, is we worry about your future. And we want, you know, I thought it was really interesting today and really telling how many people have been here 15 years, how many people have been here 10 years. You know, it's like that you start doing something for you and you look back and you go, gosh, I've come a long way and I didn't even realize it. And so what we wanted to do was to set up a way where the company could work with you to set up an IRA account so that you would have a fund that would build over a period of time. And the people that got the envelopes today were the ones that reached our highest threshold this year. It's $22,000 company dollar. And the people that reached that threshold, what we're committing to you is every year that you reach that threshold, we will contribute $1,000 per year toward your IRA account. And you'll see in the thing, if you contribute $500, after 10 years, you'll have $23,000. So that means you contributed $5,000, we contributed $10,000, and the growth of the fund contributed $8,000. So it's a way for that to build. And that's our way of saying thank you for what you do for us. There are 70 of you that got them today. And so, you know, our company looked at that. We always will invest in you, and I hope that you know that, and we mean that with all of our hearts. So we look at this like this is an investment in your future. We would encourage you to do it, and as long as you're involved with McGraw, we will continue to do that. Okay, for the second group, for those of you that may not have gotten an envelope, what I would challenge you with is get an envelope next year. You know, if they said a while ago we had like 400 agents or something. Nothing would make me happier than to write 400 $1,000 checks next year and give you all one. Because guess what? When you do well, I do well. I've always told you that, and that's really the truth. So we're not going to back off of that. So what we really encourage the rest of you to do is exactly that. Aspire to get to that point, and then let us help you build an IRA for yourself. Okay, the last thing that we have pertaining to the IRAs is going to be in relation to recruiting. We met a gentleman with Leading Realtors up in Saginaw, Michigan. He has a company of about 150 people. And what he's done in his company is he formed IRAs for his associates. And anytime they bring someone to his company, it doesn't have to be from another company, could be someone from the shoe store you met that becomes a good realtor. Anytime that person that you would bring to McGraw reaches the plateau of the $22,000, you will get $1,000 in your account every year as long as that person does it. He has one person she was an example. She had brought in 5 people. She gets $5,000 a year and has every year since those 5 people have been there. So it's a way for you to build your account. And guys, if nothing else, I hope you realize we don't want everybody to be here. We're not right for everybody. We've often said that. We want you to grow your business. That's why we wanted to have this thing be 3-tiered, because not only we want to celebrate the ones who've already gotten it, but we want to challenge the ones who haven't to get to that point, because it's much better for me if you get there than to recruit someone else. But if we bring someone else in, we want to benefit you as well. So I think if you'll think of that, you'll see that it's a big opportunity for each and every one of you to build your retirement accounts. We have set up a situation with a gentleman named Richard Benson. Is Richard here? Is Richard? He's in the booth. He's at the booth. Oh, he's out. I'm sorry, he's out the booth. Richard will be the one that'll set up the IRA accounts. If you have your own, that's fine. If you've got someone that want to use, that's fine. If that's the case, then just let us know. Get with your manager, and we'll get you the $1,000 into your account. So we can do that any way you want to. But I would encourage you to use Richard. We think he's great, and we'll be willing to set those up for you and pay all the cost in getting those things done and getting those things monitored. So I think those are really good things that we can go forward with. I hope that you look at this in the way we meant it, and that's from our heart. Again, we only want the best for you. When Joe and I say these things, we truly mean it. We love every one of you. This year's going to be great. God bless all of you. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Okay. We had you guys block until about 3 o'clock on your schedule, knowing we would be done a little early. Here's our hope. We hope you'll run back through the booths, and anything that you're curious about, not only, you probably wondered why there was an IRA guy set up in the lunchroom, right? Well, now you know. You probably wondered why Reading Partners was there. So now you know that as well. On the Reading Partners thing real quick, here's what I'd really like to do. I'd like for us as a group to take over an elementary school. Okay? I don't know how many, are they still here? They leave? I don't know how many volunteers we need to do that. But I know it's just one school, but there's a lot of kids that I think we could help by doing that. And I'm going to sign up. I'm just going to be honest. If I can squeeze in an hour with this job and 4 kids, so can you. Okay? All right. On the IRA, John did a great job of explaining that. Again, if you have an IRA account now, that's great. We'll be contacting you in the next couple of weeks for all of those that met the goal in 2014 to see how you want to handle that. If you need us to set it up, please don't be intimidated by this process. We can help you with that, make it a very seamless transition. And we just think it's really something that you should all be investing in yourselves. We're investing in the future of this company, and so we want you to invest in your future as well. All right, I think I need to do a couple of quick house cleaning things on some of the things we talked about today. First one is Realtor.com. Melissa mentioned that. I want to let you know we still are sending our listings to Realtor.com. That is not changing. The change is we are no longer going to be paying to enhance those. If that's something that you're very passionate about, I would encourage you to go do that. From a company perspective, we just couldn't justify the cost in that anymore. And so that was the reason for that change. There was a couple other cleanup. Oh, the marketing, the new marketing stuff. So some of you may have done the math on the now optional $200 package. You probably added all those things up and said, well, that doesn't equal $200. And you're right, it doesn't. I don't want to go into numbers, but we spent a significant amount of McGraw dollars on the marketing package last year. And that's fine, because while you guys didn't think it was effective, I still do. But however, it is a lot of staff work when we do all of those pieces, okay? And so that is why there is that difference in the charge, because we are essentially doing all those pieces for you, okay? Again, this is now optional. So, if you don't want to do it, if you just want to do certain pieces and you want to, or you want to do the full package, now you have all of those options. Okay. Monica, Melissa, anything else I need to clean it back? Yeah, so the showing service, but that's, that part of that's included in. We're not passing on an additional cost to you. We will have that rolled out. I had hoped we would roll that out today, but we beta test stuff, and it doesn't make any sense if you beta test stuff and it doesn't work right, that you go ahead and then roll it out. So that's why we're not doing it today. I hope to have some solutions for you. We will have it done by the end of the first quarter. And I think it's also easier to roll it out on an office-to-office basis. So I don't have a lot of time, but I'll take like 3 minutes worth of questions. Lee's holding something up in the back, but I don't know what she's holding up. So if you didn't get the envelope, we have an example of what the people that did received. So if you're curious about that, those are in the back as you exit. Feel free and grab one of those. Again, we just as soon everybody get one of those next year. Last, I would talk about hold on just a second. We're going to do something a little different this year for our awards night. I need a date. What date is it? April 4th. Do what? It's up here. April 23rd. April 23rd. So our awards are going to be a little later than normal, but here it's a pretty good reason as to why. We're going to be going to the Phantom of the Opera and doing our awards ceremony prior to the Phantom, and then going to the Phantom. Everyone who receives an award will be invited, and we'll need and your spouse as well, or partner. And then we will, if there are additional tickets left over, we will open that up to everyone else. Just so you know, there's a few awards that fall out of this, but if you hit 3 million this year in production, you will receive an invitation. And again, I anticipate there will be some left over. I still have not gotten Jackie Cruz to an awards ceremony, so you can raise your hand for hers, I guess. She might come to Phantom, though. She might. It's worth a chance. We put her name on the building one time, and we had to trick her into coming to the deal. So, okay, anything else I need to cover? One more drawing. Is that our big one? Please, guys, the booth people really spent some time, and I know it's been a long day, and I know you got appointments, and you're all looking at your watch going, I can still make that. inspection. But if you'll pop in and just hit the one that you're most curious about that you don't know anything about. Also, I'd encourage you, run by the reading partners. If you don't think about you can commit today, take some information. And again, I'd really like to take over an elementary school. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. That's a good question. I'm glad you brought it up. So here's what we're going to go to on this as far as the seller goes. Guys, this is a RESPA issue, okay? We now have another arm of RESPA, which is the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which was Jeff's guy with the shirt open, that is watching us, okay? Jeff and I attended a conference, Micah as well, in Denver, and we heard from a company in Florida that was fined $700,000, and part of their fine was what they were doing with transaction fees, okay? And we've never called it that, or we haven't called it that in a long time, but that's essentially what it is. The interesting thing was they told me that the fine was $700,000, but the legal fees that they spent to get that fine to that point were greater than the fine itself. Okay, so we're going to be really overly conservative when it comes to this. So here's your two options. The $50 fee cannot be passed to the seller. Okay. If you want the full package, you do not have to do this on every single listing. You do it on the listings you want to do. If you ask for the full package, you can pass along a $250 charge to your seller. Okay, that's your only option. It's either $0 or $250, and you do the full package. I'm not being a jerk about this. I'm trying to keep us all out of CFPB jail. Okay, it's what RESPA says is we have to show consistent difference between what we gave one seller and what we gave another seller. Okay, and so that is why we're doing this structure. We did 4,735 transactions last year. We can't track it when you just want to charge the seller for the pictures. Does that make sense to everybody? We'll have more information on this in your sales meetings. I encourage you to go to those. Your admins are pretty well trained on these. We actually, for the first time in the history of the company, invited the staff to come today. Yes. I think a lot of them are still here. So anyway, I'd like to thank you for your time. And we got one more drawing, and we're actually on time.
I have one thing to say when you get done, Penny Capron. You win, well, is she here? Maybe I won't say what it is.
Hold on. You gotta be present to win.
You need to announce it so that you understand.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I did not come up with this idea. Our lovely and talented Becky Zarecki came up with this. So the next winner for the entire year of 2015 will not have any McGraw fees. That's the $99 fee that everybody pays monthly. Okay, you have 1 year free. All right. So is Drew dressed again? Linda Reed. Is she? There she is.
Here. I'll let you hand it to her. Okay, one more quick thing. I know we've said a lot of thank yous today, and a lot of people have worked really hard, but there's one person that we haven't had a chance to recognize yet, and that's Drew Dossie, for taking some time and helping make this event so much fun and entertaining. So let's have Drew come out one more time. Here he is.
Hey, no, hold on, cut the music real quick. I thought Melissa was going to say Rick Colbert. I really did. No, and thank you really a lot. And I have put a lot of work into it, but you're going to turn me down? He's going to turn me down. No, every time I get a compliment on these videos, every time I get a compliment on, and you've seen them, the commercials and things like that, that all completely 100% started because of that guy that's standing right over there. This is all his equipment. It's just stuff that Rick has. He's a super talented guy, and he DJs, he makes videos, and he's just great. But while I'm thanking people, I guess, I'd like to thank the Academy. I'd like to thank my mom, my dad, Scott Kaufman. I'd like to thank Scott Kaufman, Glenn Taylor, Lori Lassman,